In this presentation, it will be informing about the Olympic Games 2012 economic factors, impacts, and legacies. Also evaluating what they've done to be able to have a great legacy after the Games. We have the aims and objectives for this video presentation. Aims to understand how the Olympic London Games 2012 managed their local, national and global economic impacts. Objectives: critique factors of outcomes of London Olympic Games, identify the impacts and key legacies of management. What is a sport mega event? According to Farrell, it's the two biggest sport events in the world today by any measure are the Summer Olympic Games and the Football World Cup. London falls into the category of sporting mega events. So a mega event is all about participating and everyone involved to be able to create a peaceful event. Prios 2015 also states that the mega sport event involves huge investment in a city and infrastructure. After the event, the structure that remain may be an asset to the stakeholders. So the mega event is a good opportunity also for the country to be able to develop new ideas and new improvements. So let's get to know more about the London Olympic Games. Was it successful or not successful? Norris and Rudd 2012 presented a chart of local funding organisation, one of the organisations that helped fund the Olympic Games to be able to allow more opportunities for everyone to get involved. They have an estimate revenue of other merchandise, government support, contribution and ticket sales and domestic sponsorship. So in 2012, you can see that it was a higher revenue than 2004. Let's find out more of the costs in 2012 Games. 9 million figure that cost the Olympic Games from the public and private finance. However, more money was actually spent to create this mega event. According to The Guardian, the total was 10.8 billion in spending was made and 11.3 billion in funding. This is how much profit and the London Olympic Games made to be able to create this event. So was it successful or a failure? Let's find out. How much did the Olympic Games make years after the Games? According to Forbes News organization, they state that 6 years after the 2012 opening ceremony Games, this successful mega event has made over $170 million. Converted into pounds is over $13 million. Forbes interviewed the game executive director Christopher. This is a great example of how Olympic Games can transform lives and provide diverse long-term benefits for the city for years and decades to come. This proves how well the Olympic Games has done after the Games. This is a great opportunity for businesses around the world and also in London to promote and work with London to increase on their customers. Positive and negative impacts before, during and after the Games. So there are the positive outcomes: tourist spending, new jobs, new homes, increase of participation in local, national and global audiences, especially the younger generation, and new sport venues to involvement and events. This is a chance to allow more people to get involved for future Games. The negatives are business relocated and homes relocated. So people had to move their businesses or their homes to a different location to be able to allow the Olympic Games happen and to build construction around it. So the cost of living for the locals also could go up because living in London is not cheap. So this will make it harder for the locals to live in an area where there are buildings and new homes created at a price that is really expensive. These are further impacts that the Games will have. So has the Games influenced tourism or event organisations for further development? Analysing the positive results of legacy that the 2012 Games has brought into London, it can be agreed that it can help accommodation, transport and leisure organisations to attract more visitors. In the event organisations, the location could be used for more events in the future. This will boost the economy to be able to create more opportunities and ideas. This is a chance to use the games to become more successful economically and keep profit coming in. Management of key legacies during and after the games. So how was legacy planned and managed? So legacy captures the value of sports facilities and public improvements at the turned over communities and sports organizations after the Olympic Games, according to Holt and Reuter, 2015. How was legacy planned and managed? According to Norris and Rutter, aims were created to have the focus of this event project aimed at all stakeholders, such as the local people, businesses, the people participating from national or global destinations, planning the focus of sports legacies and promoting in the UK. So one of the aims were delivering the experience of a lifetime for the athletes, leaving a legacy for sport across the country, benefiting the community through recognition, and supporting the IOC and the Olympic movement through taking the movement forward. Gov.uk also stated that this development by 5 to 7 years has added almost 1.6 billion to the London economy and generated between 75,000 to 110,000 jobs years. Further macroeconomic impacts were influenced by the London Games. Programme generated 2.9 million cross value added for the economy, a positive outcome for the businesses to use the resources offered of the game. How this impacts measured and criticised. To be able to measure economic factors in the mega event, it is to look at results to be able to see if this was a successful event. So, in 2012 to 2015, HM government and the Mayor of London said that 50 million international visitors were made to London and over 10 billion was spent. This is a great positive global benefit to the city to increase economy revenue. Strategies used for further development London and the cities in the UK was marketing. The Great Marketing Campaign produced by the UK government focused on ways for the rest of the world to discover them by advertising in 14 countries such as Berlin, Beijing, New York and Sydney. In total of around 90 million people viewing the advertisement of London Olympic Games. This is a very good strategy used to be able to attract international destinations to work with London and also be involved. Comparing the Olympic London Games 2012 to the Rio Olympic Games 2016 to see how successful the London Olympic Games was and how Rio dealt with their legacy after the Games. The state of Rio declared that it was broke and rescued with 2.9 billion government bailout according to the Guardian News. Due to the epidemic and crime, it has decreased the numbers of visitors and led to economic failure of their country. After the Games, there wasn't much positive outcomes for the locals because there was no job opportunities and no money for future developments. This could be due to the Brazilian economy. They spent most of their money on building the Olympic Games. So this really left the locals with no job opportunities or any opportunities for future development in the country. It's concluded that the London Olympic Games was successful and impacted the mega events and tourism industry. Firstly, London being a global city with a population that is popular and attracts many people around the world. Using their sponsorships to create an event that is economically stable during the Games and in the future. They can consider this action needed to boost help London and other cities in the UK to become more economically successful and using the resources to have more partnerships to increase revenue. Thank you. This was the video presentation about the 2012 Olympic Games legacy and management of factors and impacts.